Warm evening to all our West Coast voters. Thank you for coming this evening. Today I'm going to present the topic on everyone's mind. Do you really think the government will let foreigners steal Singaporean jobs? So after my presentation, you will decide whether what PSP has been advocating about. Now, what is this CECA that everyone is fussing about? It's basically a free trade agreement with India. CECA stands for Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. It simply is nothing but FTA, free trade agreement, and has no taxes on imports from India, and likewise for them. It also guarantees entry and stay for each other citizens between 2 months to 3 years. However, it does not guarantee a PR or citizenship, and it does not guarantee you a job either. People who want to work in Singapore must apply directly to the companies, or they can be transferred via their MNCs. Lately, PSP mentioned or claimed that it was the government-linked companies that benefited more than the SMEs. And this was refuted by the PAP government. Now, I'm going to show you some evidence of the fact that we were actually where our source was from. Last year, there was a pre-budget meeting co-chaired by President of the Institute of Singapore Chartered Accounts, Mr. Koh Yin Tiong, and Chairman of the Government Parliamentary Committee for Finance and Trade and Industry, Mr. Liang Ingwa, at the Intercontinental Singapore on the 9th of January 2019. Now, the following day, the newspapers carried it, our Straits Times, dated January 10, 2019. I'm going to read to you exactly what was printed on the newspaper. While Singapore has signed several free trade agreements over the years, one group of businesses seems to be having difficulties reaping their benefits: small and medium-sized enterprises. To help them, companies could hunt in a bag with larger businesses such as multinationals given incentives to work with smaller firms from non-competing sectors. Leading the way to enter new markets, industry leaders said at the roundtable discussion yesterday ahead of Singapore's budget on February the 18th. A lot of the FTAs and high-level government-to-government contracts that get signed seldom filter down to the SME level, and they normally stay at maybe the government-linked company level, said Mr. Ang, Vice President of the membership of the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. So now we have this evidence that shows very clearly that the SMEs do not benefit from such trade agreement. Now let me carry on. What does it mean by no taxes or import? Before I go on to explain about the job implication on the job. So, well, you have no taxes, it's so obvious. Generally, that's a good thing for both countries because it helps the economy. No taxes of foreign imports means cheaper foreign goods for us, potentially lowest cost of living. Okay. Now, no taxes on our exports too. The goods we produce will have lower end price. More competitively priced goods overseas means more exports and more GDP. So this also gives more choice to our customers. Now I transcend that to jobs. The implications are actually very similar, just that instead of importing goods, we are now importing labor. So what is the cost of living in Singapore versus India? Or in fact, even for Malaysia, Thailand, no matter what. It's just not an India thing, so please don't get me wrong. It is common to any countries that has got lower exchange rate against Singapore dollars. Currently, the exchange rate between Singapore and India works out to about 1:50, for Malaysia 1:3. So you'll find that 350,000 Malaysians travel across to Singapore to work daily, because if they earn 1,000 Sing dollars, it is translated to 3,000 ringgit, and they can live very comfortably in Malaysia JB. So, unless the Indian coming here is coming with their entire family, at least a portion of their salary will be sent back to India to support those back home. So, given the exchange rate and the cheaper cost of living in India, Singapore dollar will be worth a lot more to the foreigner than to the Singaporean. So, foreigners will be willing to work for cheaper salaries. It pushes down salaries and reduces jobs for locals if no policies are put in place to protect Singaporeans. Now, what is the government solution? So they came up with this Fair Consideration Framework, FCF. Basically, it tells employers that they must advertise locally and consider all applicants fairly before advertising abroad. So in some way, making employers give jobs to locals before they consider foreigners. But the question is it working? It seems pretty easy to fake, and the government realizes that and said that it would ban companies that are found to be going against the FCF from even employing foreigners. It's not compulsory to pick a local over foreign talent, especially if they can justify that the foreign talent is better than the Singaporean candidate. We, from PSP, we are saying compulsory prioritization of Singaporeans over foreign talent, plus also we must limit the employment and S-pass as well as the work permit. Okay, so what are the benefits? The benefits is we will have less true unemployment where people get employed in the sector they were trained to work in, rather than seeking employment through Grab or whatever else. Make use of our own local talents. Of course, there is downfall. It may be productivity might be lower because you are taking a less skilled local instead of potentially better foreign talent. The question is then, why do we have WDA or Future Skills Program? It's basically the same question that every company should ask. Should I hire a person and then train him, or hire a trained person? Of course, multinational companies, government companies, they got money. So they will rather hire people who are trained. But SMEs don't have that kind of fund, right? So they will come to the next part. So cost of running businesses will likely increase because foreign talent cannot push down the wages. So in this situation, who gains? Those unemployed due to foreigners being employed in positions they are suitable for. And who loses? The firms and the businesses, because cost of wages increases, plus obviously the foreign talent whom will have to settle for jobs in their own country. So minimizing the firm's losses, we will logically see, and by basic economics, if production cost goes up, the firm is going to increase the price of goods that they are selling. This means that the losses are shifted from the firm to the consumers, meaning us. That will drive the cost of living. But the government introduces policies to help the SMEs, and by increasing the providing the cash or supporting them with the funding, then you'll find that they will help to alleviate the cost or reduce the cost of the products. Okay. So they must put in some policies to help the SMEs. So we in PSP have said this in our manifesto. First, priority to be given to the public sector, contracts from government sector to be given to SMEs rather than large companies. This is the same conclusion that it was given during the last year's meeting. They also need to invest into local SMEs. Encourage cooperations among SMEs. This will help to get contracts and jobs that can be handled by the SMEs. They can also provide direct support to SMEs to restructure their businesses and expand abroad. They will certainly reduce business costs in many other ways. So Now you understand why we claim that we have to put in some policies with regards to managing our workforce, especially with foreign talents. So in conclusion, let me tell you all something. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew once said, there will come a time when eventually the public will say, look, let's try the other side, either because the PAP has declined in quality or the opposition has put a team equal to the PAP. And they say, let's try the other side. That day will come. And that day happens to be 10th of July 2020. Vote for Progress Singapore Party, for people, for country. Thank you.